On, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sloppy Saturdays. And today we are doing a interesting type of episode. We're doing an episode that I basically hinted at on my last episode. We are going over the amount of college football quarterbacks that the community got completely wrong so far. Basically, it seems like everybody in top 5, top 10 lists are almost flaming out. And we're going to talk about if it's time to panic on each of these quarterbacks or not. Now, again, this was everybody wrong pretty much as a community, because when we look at the slow starts of Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning, DJ Lagway, Sam Levitt, like these were quarterbacks that pretty much everybody had in their top 10. And we're looking at 60-70% of top 10 lists flaming out. Now, there have been guys that have been good who we expected to be good. When you look at a guy like Drew Aller, he's been pretty good. Again, he's played all cupcakes. There have been some guys that have been good. Carson Beck played really good. A lot of people had him in top 10s. Like, there have been guys that have played good. But it seems like more guys are stepping up that people didn't account for. And the guys that everybody put in top 10 lists are pretty much getting off to really slow starts. Now, this episode is really going to be on should you panic on each guy that a lot of people had high hopes for. Now, I'm going to go on the back end of guys first, maybe people that we had a little bit less expectations for. The first guy I want to go over is CJ Carr. I feel like his stats does not do him justice. He has 514 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions with a 62.9% completion percentage. Now, the reason why I think his statistics don't do him justice is because, one, he probably had the 2 toughest games out of anybody on this list. When you look at Miami, when you look at Texas A&M, 2 ranked teams, 2 teams that I think are 2 top 15 teams, and he played every one of those teams down the wire. In the second half of both games, he really came alive, had super impressive drives, showed a clutch-type gene for him. And the other thing I believe as well for CJ Carr, again, different from most people on this list, this guy is a first-time starter. Notre Dame is trying to give him a game plan to get his feet wet. We saw in the first game against Miami a boatload of screen passes. We saw in the second game against Texas A&M playing the whole game through their running backs, whether it's Jeremiah Love or Jadarian Price. So again, he doesn't have full range of this offense yet by any means. The other reason outside of the competition why I want to give CJ Carr a break as well, because we're looking at a guy that put up major points against both ranked teams. When you look at against Miami, he put up 25 plus. When you look at against Texas A&M, he led his offense to 40 plus. So yeah, the touchdown to interception ratio and the completion percentage, everything combined doesn't look great. But when we're looking at a first-time starting quarterback in CJ Carr that played 2 major opponents, 2 top 15 opponents, and led them to 65 combined points in 2 games. I think that's super impressive. I think he's been more impressive than not impressive. I feel like the stats don't do justice on this one. And again, as a first-time starter, playing 2 top 15 matchups and staying in both games, I don't think he's been nearly as bad as other people on this list with the expectations that people had and with the matchups he played. I'm giving CJ Carr a break here. I think he's going to be a lot better throughout the season, especially because they're going to be playing way worse competition, and he's going to be getting his feet more wet. I like CJ Carr. I don't think CJ Carr deserves to even be in this video, really, but he's one guy that stats were on this post that I saw, so he came on this list. The next one we have is Austin Simmons. Now, Austin Simmons is an odd one. 580 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 60% completion percentage. Now, the reason why I think Austin Simmons is an odd one, because I'm not really 100% sure what's going on at Ole Miss. Now, Austin Simmons played 2 games so far. He had really not even 2 games because he was sidelined due to a foot injury. He doesn't start in the 3rd game this week, and Trinidad Chambliss starts, and he goes absolutely insane. And Austin Simmons comes in for a play for that game and throws a touchdown. So my question is Trinidad Chambliss starting because Lane Kiffin believes in Trinidad Chambliss now? Like, is he pulling the plug early? Because Austin Simmons came in that game. But we saw after that touchdown pass, Austin Simmons was still limping. So, I'm really confused. And it doesn't help Austin Simmons that Trinidad Chambliss came in and played insane against Arkansas, like played flawless. That's why I'm a little worried with Austin Simmons on this list because I'm not really sure if Lane Kiffin is going to Trinidad Chambliss. Because why would Austin Simmons come in for a play if he was hurt? I don't know. I'm very, very confused because in that game, I thought Trinidad Chambliss was starting because Austin Simmons was sidelined with his injury. And then the fact that Austin Simmons came in, I'm a little all over the place. I'm not panicking on Austin Simmons, though. I can't panic on somebody after 2 starts. I just can't do it. Barely even 2 starts. Again, it's just way too early for me for Austin Simmons. But the only reason I would be panicking is because I don't even know if they're sticking with Austin Simmons. Like, I don't know what's going on. Trinidad Chambliss played insane. Not only that, Austin Simmons came in when he played insane. So is he hurt? Is he not? What's going on? I don't know. We got to have more time to tell what's going on with Austin Simmons. Again, hasn't been a great start with 580 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 receptions. It doesn't help that your backup quarterback absolutely lit it up. But again, don't really know what's going on with Ole Miss. Now, the next guy up, we really have to talk about. This guy was like a bona fide top 3 quarterback to start the season on pretty much everybody in college football media's list. I think he came in 3rd on our list, and he has been absolutely awful. 633 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 receptions, 59.1 completion percentage, not even at 60%. Completion percentage is godly awful. My biggest issue with K. Klubnik is I don't think he really looked good at any point pretty much of any game he played in. When we look at the game against LSU, he only puts up 10 points. I get LSU is one of the best teams in the country, but you were at home, you were favored, and you had a 10-3 lead at half and did absolutely nothing in the second half. Then against Troy, he puts up 3 points in a half. They end up winning that game, coming back. They have a lot of momentum in the second half, a pick, a touchdown, but didn't look good in the Troy game. And then again in the Georgia Tech game, a super slow start. He puts in a touchdown late in the first half in that game. They come back a little bit. He stalls out again, and Georgia Tech ends up beating them. So again, a team that was favored in all 3 games. I get LSU was a tough one, but hasn't looked good in all 3 games. And my issue with Cade Klubnik as well is he doesn't have any physical gifts that are super imposing. So again, it's not like a guy that has like insane arm strength, insane legs, and you could go to that and say, hey, like this guy has the physical gifts to still be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. It was more of a mind game and an accuracy game for Cade Klubnik, and we have not been seeing that. Now, the one thing I do have to say about Cade Klubnik, he is missing his leading receiver in Antonio Williams for all 3 games. An offense that was supposed to be centered around Antonio Williams, a guy that was supposed to be a top 5 receiver again, that's a major hit. We can't act like that's nothing, but for a schedule that wasn't insanely tough opening up, I get it. Georgia Tech is a good football team. We do think they're a good football team, but Clemson has way more talent than Georgia Tech, even without Antonio Williams. Against Troy, you didn't look impressive. The LSU game, again, LSU is going to be one of the best teams in the country, but I am really worried about Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik is probably the guy on the list I am panicking the most on because, again, Clemson is probably in the worst spot out of anybody on this list, being 1-2 in the ACC. You have to win out, and even then, it's still not a guarantee for you to make the college football playoffs. I want to see Cade Klubnik with Antonio Williams in this offense, if that possibly opens up this offense for him, if that's what he was missing. But again, Cade Klubnik against Troy, against Georgia Tech, I think his performance is just flat out unacceptable. And out of everybody with physical gifts on this list, out of every quarterback in like the top 5 that we were talking about physical gifts, I feel like he has the least to lean on as well. I'm panicking on Cade Klubnik. Again, Antonio Williams is going to really decide for me if we're going to see a different Cade Klubnik or not. But it shouldn't even have came down to that because against Troy, against Georgia Tech, he should have looked a hell of a lot better. Cade Klubnik is probably the guy on this list I'm panicking the most on. Then we get into Lenore Sellers. This is a guy I'm not really panicking on. 431 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 64.4% completion rate in like 2.5 games. He gets injured early against the Vanderbilt game. I don't really want to use that against him. Against Virginia Tech, I thought he should have played a little bit better, but I thought he's shown great flashes. Second game he played, he didn't play that well. But Lenore Sellers, for me, I said it in my top 10 quarterback video. I'm pretty sure I didn't even have Lenore Sellers as a top 5 quarterback. He's a guy with a ton of physical gifts. He's probably the biggest running threat in the country that I think is just going to open up his games in a ton of matchups. That's why I'm not worried about him. At his size, at his speed, so physically gifted, and obviously his arm strength is great as well. but I don't think he's one of the most polished quarterbacks in college football by any means. I didn't expect him to have the greatest year in college football. When you look at him compared to other top 5 quarterbacks, I think he's a great NFL prospect with his intangibles. But right now in college football, I definitely don't think he's the most polished NFL ready quarterback. I'm not worried about Lenore Sulls at all, to be honest with you. Like I said, it hasn't even really been 3 games for him. And I think just how physically gifted he is as a runner, that's just going to open up his game tremendously in so many matchups. Too physically gifted, not enough time we saw it. Not really worried about Lenore Sulls in a game one that I thought he actually played well in as well. So not worried about that. Sam Levitt, 527 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 58.1% completion rate. Now, the game that really scared me was this Mississippi State game. Like, he was playing in a hostile environment, and he basically had a whole half where he was just shell-shocked. Again, that environment was absolutely rocking. In the second half, they came back, but it was really due to the run game. And then last week, they bounced back against Texas State. He didn't even play that great of a game. Again, we saw flashes as well. Again, I'm going to bank on talent in the Big 12. I do think he's the best quarterback. I do think he has one of the best receiving options in Jordan Tyson in the entire country. I do think the run game is good for Arizona State as well. I like his coach, even though I questioned him against Mississippi State. I'm not completely worried on Sam Levitt. I want to see more of him. I do think Arizona State has probably the most talent in the Big 12. I do like his situation going forward. The Mississippi State game was bad. I wish they would have came out on the right end of it. Definitely, there is a little bit of worry. Like I said, these stats are abysmal with the completion percentage at 58.1%. I was expecting a lot better this season, definitely to start. And Arizona State was one of the teams I was the most high on, along with Sam Levitt. I thought it was criminally underrated. Another guy that intangibles are great, what he's able to do with in the running game and the passing game, but hasn't been an ideal start. I think there definitely is a lot to worry about, but I still believe in Sam Levitt for sure. Next guy up, the guy everybody wants to hear about. We were talking about Arch Manning, 579 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 55.3% completion percentage. Now, the issue is with Arch Manning, he did play 2 cupcakes. Now, when we were talking about the Ohio State game in week 1, like, again, the worst possible situation he could have gone into. You're playing the national champion winner in the previous year away, arguably the best team in the country. And again, against a former NFL defensive coordinator in Matt Patricia, he was definitely confused. But now we saw 2 games against Cupcakes where he doesn't look good. His feet doesn't look good. He looks like he has nervous feet, and under pressure, he seems to panic. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. I cannot panic on Arch Manning. I can't. Again, he doesn't have the starts in college football personally for me to really panic yet. I get it. He's probably looked arguably the worst out of any top 10 quarterback against Cupcakes. I agree with that. But the flashes that he's shown at 6'4", what he's able to do running the football and his deep ball, like, I think it's just a mental game right now. I think it's just, honestly, him not having enough starts. And I trust Arch Manning. Like, I really do. The pros that I've able to seen from him, the great plays that I've able to seen from Arch Manning, and the plays, like I said, that he panics a little bit, that his feet aren't great. He just seems like it just seems like a mental game to me. Really seems like a mental game. And I think with more time into the season, maybe against a couple more Cupcakes, he's going to get it right. I also believe in his Texan team. I think he has one of the best coaches in the country. I think this team in the trenches is phenomenal. I think their running game is really good. I have 2 really good running backs. I think their weapons on the outside are great. Like, that's another reason that I really trust in Arch Manning. Like, I just believe Texas is going to get it right. I believe with this much hype, again, he's not going to exceed expectations probably this year that everybody had in the beginning of the season because the expectations were ridiculous. But him, I believe it's all mental, and I believe in what Texas has around him and this team. I believe he's going to get it right. But again, somebody that you're pretty close to panicking on because it has looked really bad. I'm not going to lie about that. Then the guy that I am panicking on the most that I definitely don't think he's going to get it right this season. Can he improve from his start? 100%, because his start has probably been the worst in college football, up there with Arch Manning. We were talking about DJ Lagway, 629 yards, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 71% completion percentage. It has been bad. 5 interceptions in a game. I get it against LSU, whose defense looked phenomenal, but 5 interceptions, absolutely awful. Again, DJ Lagway's decision making has looked like the worst in the country. I get it. At his size, he's able to do everything, able to make every play in the country with his physical traits. But the reason why I don't trust in DJ Lagway, like I said, his mental game is just so behind. But not only that, in the SEC, in most matchups, I believe this Florida team doesn't have enough talent. I believe this Florida team is probably in the worst state right now out of any major Power Four conference school. Like, I believe their coach is going to be fired after this year. I believe this program is going to have a complete overhaul. Like, I just don't think the state of this Florida team is in the right spot for DJ Lagway to succeed this season going forward. Again, is he going to be better this season? Yeah, he has to be. 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He has to be better just theoretically. But again, I don't think TJ Lagway could overcome this and be one of the better quarterbacks in the country this year, a top 15 quarterback. I just don't see it happening. Again, can he be a great college quarterback in his junior and his senior year? 100%. He has the gifts to do so. But this Florida team is just not in the state right now, and he's not in the state for him to be a top quarterback in the country. I'm completely panicking on DJ Lagway for this year. And then our last guy up, we have Garrett Nussmeier. He's probably a guy that I am panicking the least on. 689 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 65.1% completion percentage. Now, again, I have said it time and time again, this LSU team has completely surprised me. Our biggest question mark for them was their defense, and their defense arguably looks like one of the best in the country. What they were able to do in their 3 matchups is absolutely phenomenal. Holding Florida to 10, like we just mentioned, making DJ Lagway throw 5 interceptions, holding Clemson to 10, absolutely ridiculous as well, and then they played a cupcake in the middle. This LSU offense hasn't looked good, but Garrett Nussmeier is just way too talented with these offensive pieces he has around him for this offense not to explode. Like, he has 4 absolute track stars as receivers. He has Caden Durham, who I think is a really good college football running back. I like the offensive line as well. Like, this offense is just way too good. My opinion on this offense is they just really need one game against a cupcake again to get this game going. Not only that, he has guys like Barry Brown, Nick Anderson really just getting used to the offense. We saw Barry Brown not be able to be used in certain formations right now because he just doesn't know certain blocking schemes. So again, this LSU offense just has to manage all this talent. And I believe that it's going to take one game against a cupcake to get this offense right, where they absolutely explode, scoring 50-plus points, and then they're going to be set to go for the rest of the season. I think they're probably the most encouraging team to look at because, like we said, this defense is absolutely flying when that was our question mark. And then the offense hasn't been performing when we know the offense has the talent to do so. I'm not worried about Garrett Nussmeier at all. And his team's at a 3-0 start with an SEC matchup. And again, at the time, a top 5, top 6 matchup in Clemson. So I'm not worried about LSU at all. I'm not worried about Garrett Nussmeier at all. Don't panic on him at all. That wraps up this episode of Sloppy Saturdays. Drop down your hot take on all these quarterbacks. It seems like the college football community through 3 weeks got pretty much every quarterback wrong, including us. Our hands are up as well. That wraps up this episode of Sloppy Saturdays, and we are